Now, I know we've talked about this in the past, but I think it's always interesting, you know, and I've seen this broadly across the IT spectrum, where a lot of companies now are looking at their technology vendors, not as vendors, but as partners, right? So how can technology partners help in this digital transformation, process? I mean, what ultimately differentiates a technology vendor from a technology partner?
So, what you said is absolutely right. These vendors are not fly-by-night kind of people anymore, right? The old school of thought is you build software, you put it out, and that's it. It will work for the next 100 years. You don't touch it, everything stays the same, right? We're not living in that world anymore. And the reason is business is changing rapidly. I mean, nobody predicted pandemic. During pandemic, everything has changed. Everything that we believed in has been challenged and changed. The second part is your partners. If you're a broker or a 3PL, you have shippers and carriers. These partners, your business partners, are also evolving. They're adapting to new technology. And if you are the person who's not adapting to technology, or you don't have technology that's moving along, you're the ones who are going to drag them down. And obviously you don't drag somebody out, you typically get out, you get pushed out. So these vendors that provide this technology for brokers have to have a different mindset. So there are five ways to look at your partners. If you're a broker out there, you're looking at technology vendors that you want to partner with. Look for these 5 reasons. Right? One is you want a vendor who is constantly evolving their product. That's a key part, right? They cannot build one thing and give it to you and say, this is it, take it and deal with it, right? It has to constantly improve. And that improvements should come with your participation as a broker. Because when you are feeding into that network of what is valuable to you, you are helping that vendor build solutions that match your requirements. So that truly becomes that partnership, right? That's the second part. The third part is technology should be more than technology. Meaning, in today's world, the cost of building technology has come down, literally. But that doesn't make that you and I and everyone out there can just go out and start building new technologies. The reason I say that is, now the value of technology is derived from the network effect. How many people have already been on it? So think about if somebody launches a new social site like Facebook today. Nobody wants to go to that. Unless all your friends and everybody's on it, you're not going to that. There is a reason why we don't see new search engines that are challenging Google today, or even the social media sites so much so, right? Because of that network. In transportation, especially brokers, are exactly in that network effect because they work with a lot of small carriers, primarily the ones that move over 80% of the truck freight, owner-operator small carriers. That fragmented group is the network. So when you're looking for a vendor, look for a vendor who already has that carrier base. Or if you're looking for a software that works with your shippers, look for a lot of shippers already on it. Right? That's that network. The fourth one is beyond software. The reason I said beyond software is every software comes with breaking point or needs help. If you're buying software, you're going out to buy a car, and the manufacturer or the dealer says, well, this is great, this is an amazing car, but we don't provide any support. If it fails, good luck. Right? You're on your own. There's no user manual. You can figure this out, and that's about it. Not many people are comfortable doing it. Not that we call our dealers or repair shops every day, but we have a thought that if something happens to this car, I know there is someone who can help you. That is the confidence people want. So with software, you want to look for solid support. And that support should happen in real time, because when brokers are using, I'm a broker, I have a load that I'm tracking, or I'm a load that I'm trying to manage. If the system doesn't work, and my software vendor says, well, that's good, Prasad, log a case, we'll come back to you in 2 months. My shipper cannot wait for 2 months for this load. Being a small broker, I'll lose my business. So you want a real-time support, real-time training. I want my team to be trained on it, how to use it. How do I get the best out of this? And if I'm not doing something right, how do I improve my usability or how I use this software? That all comes in something called support, training, compliance. So at Trucker Tools, we have a separate team for that. With multiple teams in one big department that does all of this. And the purpose behind that is we believe in, your software is part of it. Our support, training, compliance is another part of it. Together, make the solution work for you, and make sure that if you ever have any question, or we can work with you on helping you get the best out of our software, the way we see it. Right? That's the fourth thing. And the fifth thing is accountability. Right? You go out there, you're buying a software. Don't just go out with a software that only, I call it accountability because it's an accountability on you as the buyer too. Is don't buy a software that does only one thing. Because what it does is, if your vendor says, I can only do one thing, and for everything else, I'm not doing anything, you have to make the vendor accountable and say, hey, are you going to integrate with other softwares? Or what can I do to make a consistent thing? Because remember the three things that we spoke earlier: digital freight matching, visibility, and sending those documents back and all of that. A typical vendor should address all three of them. Should not just address one and leave that, right? So that's the whole pursuit to find the partners.
I like the 5 things, and I like the point about beyond software. I know one of the things that I've heard from a lot of shippers in particularly, but this holds true for brokers as well, that I've heard from them is looking at that alignment of culture, right? And that for a lot of these folks, the alignment of culture today means, like you said earlier on, we know that tomorrow's reality is not going to be today's reality. So we're going to have different needs. We're going to have different requirements. We may need to pivot in one direction or another, or our customers are going to have different requirements on us. So we're going to then come back to you, and we're going to have some new requirements for you. How quickly can you respond to our changing needs? Does your R&D roadmap align with where we want to go as a business? Right. So that's critically important. And then the people aspect, right? Because at the end of the day, we know that things are not always going to work perfectly 100% of the time, right? So it's being able to get that support, and how responsive and how much communication takes place between the partners. I think is critically important here.